Hey guys, how is it going, and welcome back to a brand new Minecraft video. Today I'm going to be teaching you how to transform your Minecraft caves. We're going to be going through some hand terraforming, a little bit of texturing, and some all-round tips and tricks to transform your caves into something absolutely stunning. Relax and let's get into this. So this is the cave I am starting with. As you can see, super basic, super skinny, and doesn't actually have any space in it whatsoever. So first off, I guess we need to clear some space for our cave transformation. Now I'm simply just going to be starting to break blocks, and we're going to see where we go from here. I'm also going to aim for more of a circular shape. Okay, so as you can see, cleared a little bit more space, and it's starting to look a little bit more like the cave we want. It's nowhere near done and nowhere near perfect. That's why we're going to keep breaking some blocks. And with these kind of projects, you are never really satisfied. There's always little bits you want to go back, you want to nitpick, you want to change. But we're going to do it to the best of our abilities. I'm breaking out the back because I'm thinking I want to add a waterfall at the back of my cave. I think this would look pretty good in your guys' caves too. A waterfall is always a nice feature to kind of catch the eye and make that build a little bit more special. As you can see, I'm just pretty much breaking away more and more at the walls, the corners, trying to get the perfect shape that I need. And now one huge tip for terraforming or transforming a cave is layering. Layering your walls in a cave is so important. And by layering, as you can see on my screen, the blocks are kind of overlapping each other at a diagonal angle, and that is what you want to go for. If the walls were flat, the cave would have zero depth and just wouldn't look 3D and immersive in any way, shape, or form. But when you layer the walls, it gives a super nice effect, and that is what we are going for with this cave transformation. Now, to clear, I did try and use some TNT blocks, but I did find they weren't actually that effective. So I would just recommend doing it by hand. That way you can get the perfect shape that you truly want. Now, this kind of part of the transformation is just a case of removing and replacing blocks until you are satisfied with the shape of your walls. Okay, so I'm pretty happy with the space I now have in my cave, and I think I'm gonna go for more of a lake type cave with water on my ground level. Now first, I'm just gonna go around the edges with some grass blocks. This will kind of give me a sort of guide to where I want my water level to be. Also, the grass will add a nice splash of color to a pretty dull looking cave. There's lots of grays, lots of darker colors, so a lighter green is always nice to kind of have around the edges. Also, adding the grass blocks will allow for us to have some plants and some leaves at a later stage in the build. I'm also going to go around with some coarse dirt, kind of add this around our waterfall area and around the backs of some of the cave walls. Just trying to break up the colors with a little bit of brown. Coarse dirt is also a super helpful texture. It gives you the nice look of dirt without the grass being able to spread on this. I know a lot of you guys probably already know that, but for you beginners, maybe just clicking on this video, that is why coarse dirt is really cool. Now on the very bottom level of the cave where the water will be covering, I'm going to be texturing this ground, and for this I'm going to be using some coarse dirt, some andesite, a little bit of sand as well to kind of give it that seabed sort of feel. Also going to be adding in a little bit of cobblestone to kind of break up the textures as well, and this is just very random. You don't want to have any kind of pattern to your texturing because then it doesn't look as natural as if it were all random. When texturing, you want to make sure you choose colors that go pretty well together. They don't have to be exact, they don't have to all be blue or all be brown or all be gray, but you want them to almost blend in very subtly. around the edges as well, building up with some different textures using the coarse dirt and the cobble to really get in there to kind of get away from that all grey kind of color scheme. So this coarse dirt, stone and sand kind of texture palette is a very safe bet to be using, so it definitely wouldn't hurt if you guys wanted to use the exact same kind of palette. Now I'm simply adding the corresponding slab textures around the bottom of our riverbed to kind of smooth out the landscape, and the ones in the middle can represent some rocks on the ground. Also using slabs, it makes for a very nice gradient from the higher levels of land down into the water, kind of like in real life. You would kind of have a gradual decline and slope as you got closer from land into water. It's always nice to try and implement things from real life when building in Minecraft. As you can see, I'm just going in under the waterbed and placing down some seagrass, all the different corals, trying to add splashes of color and make the bed of my little pond area a lot more interesting than it already was. Once the aquatic update was added to Minecraft, this has always been very achievable. Now it's a case of just going around the entire cave and replacing the stone with cobble, stone bricks, and andesite. Now we're actually going to be adding some spikes hanging down from the top of our caves, and to do this I'm going to use some full blocks, maybe some of these stone walls, and even stairs and slabs. And now you do see these a lot in real life. I don't know the correct term for these, so I'm just going to call them cave spikes. These are going to be absolutely awesome features in our cave and add a lot of depth when looking in. Once again, these are kind of pretty time consuming to get perfect, and let's be honest, they're probably not going to be perfect. Unless you're the best Minecraft builder in all of the universe, nothing's ever really perfect and can always be made better, either with someone's advice or just going back, taking a nice look and making the changes yourself. As you can see when I'm building, I'm always flying back to take a look at what I've done, going back in, changing things I wasn't quite happy with before, switching out some of the blocks, etc, etc. I'm probably going to be adding another 2 more of these spikes, one in either kind of corner of the roof to kind of give the cave structure a little bit of balance and also be super nice to look at when they are finished. I also just think they add a super kind of rugged look to the cave, which was looking pretty smooth before, and that's not really the look I kind of want to be going for. Now we're going to be going around our cave with stairs and slabs corresponding to the textures we've already used. So this would be andesite slabs and stairs, maybe some mossy cobble, and also cobblestone and the usual stone block. Now as soon as you start placing them, you're going to see this build start to transform. These slabs and stairs, when they were added into Minecraft, give a whole different perspective when building. They allow us to add layers and depth that we used to not be able to add because we simply didn't have these textures as slabs and stairs and would have to use a texture pack if we wanted that feature. It's super awesome, and as you can see on my screen, the cave is definitely starting to come together and look absolutely amazing. Now we are done with the stairs and slabs, I'm going to be adding the water to the waterfall at the back. And personally, I'm going to be going for a single kind of waterfall, which is only going to take up 1 block of flow. If you do want to have a 2 or 3 block wide waterfall, that's absolutely okay. You can make this in whatever way you would like, as it's your cave. And don't ever let anyone tell you that different is worse. Different is always better. It's now time to go in with our leaf blocks and start adding them and splashing them around different areas of the caves. I'm just going to use a mixture of different leaves because, as you can see on my screen, when you add different leaves together, it looks a lot nicer and spices up the texture palette. I'm trying to add the leaves in more of the nook and cranny areas and not in plain sight to kind of look like in these little crevices of the cave, the leaves have been growing over time. This again is just another case of placing them as randomly as possible so they don't look like someone's just come and popped them absolutely everywhere. Now going in with a little bit more greenery and just adding some vines around our cave to kind of give it that overgrown sort of feel. Next, I'm going to be adding spruce wood fences all around random areas of the cave, and I'm not sure why I did this. I just think it breaks up again the grays and the darker colors and is definitely very eye-catching when looking at the cave from a distance. Now I'm going to go in with a shovel and kind of break up some of the grass blocks and turn them into path blocks. Again, you get this little edge from the path block to the grass block, and it adds for that little bit more depth to your build. It's also a very nice lighter brown color and kind of brings all the colors together once you are done building. Also going to create a little pathway out of the cave. I'm not going to do the whole way to the surface just because that would probably take too long for the video. Pretty much just make path blocks until you have happy with the way it all looks. Now going in it with my plants, my grass, my ferns, my little azure bullets, my lilacs, and all the tall grass, and placing them randomly, trying to layer them from tallest to smallest when placing them down. Yet again, this has got to be random because it's got to look as natural as we can possibly make it. Now finally, I'm going around with stone buttons, and you may be wondering why on earth are you using stone buttons? Well, as you can see, they kind of look like little rocks or little pebbles sticking out, and this is definitely something that you don't need to add, but you know, we're going to be extra out here today. And again, it just adds a lot of extra little details. Also going to be hanging some lanterns for light purposes, and it almost looks like people have been trying to mine in these caves and they've hung up these lanterns. They have just been left on the ceiling of the cave. Last but not least, I'm going to add a 1.14 campfire block just because I love them so much, and they just add to the aesthetic of the cave in general. But that is it for our cave transformation. I've got shaders on, and you can truly see how amazing this cave looks. Now hopefully after watching this video, you've taken away some awesome little tips and tricks to kind of transform a cave on your own. It's not really something you can do a block by block tutorial on, because not every cave should be the same as the other. And after watching this video, hopefully you will understand this. With that being said, thank you so much for watching. Hopefully you have a great rest of your day. Love you all so much. Stay creative, stay positive, and I'll see you in my next Minecraft video. Bye guys.